Oki, hello there, and welcome to the Fox Den. Nistu anagok biksipidaki. I am Andrea True Joy Fox, your host for Talks with a Fox. I'm happy you have joined me on this colorful adventure of self-discovery and lifelong learning. Throughout my journey, I have met some amazing human beings who are living inspirational and intentional lives as they fulfill their purpose and share their gifts with the world. I am excited to share these conversations with you, as well as some stories from my life as a Blackfoot woman, Nitsitabyaki, and as a teacher and artist who is navigating through this exciting and beautiful world we live in, challenges and all. So grab a tea or coffee and get ready to feel inspired as you reflect on your own exciting journey and your connection to the world. We are in this together, and there is so much for us to learn and share. Let's do this. Be sure to stop by our Instagram page at Talks with the Fox Podcast and our Facebook page as well at Talks with the Fox Podcast, and of course our Buzzsprout website. And that way you can always keep up with all the updates. It means so much to me that you are on this journey with us. Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to Talks with the Fox podcast. We are now entering the second season, episode 1, and I get the joy of having another incredible conversation with someone who you are probably familiar with if you listen carefully to season 1, the Mr. Corey Gray, also known as Agaposoyis, and that means many weasel tails in Blackfoot. Also known as the mad scientist, the hiker, the salsa dancer, and most recently a lifesaver. We'll get into that later on, but without further ado, welcome, Corey.
Hey, thank you very much, Andrea. It's good to chat with you again in this weird pandemic era, but I'm super excited to talk and just see what's up for season 2.
Excellent. So I got to ask you, Corey, just from our last conversation, what did you do this time to prepare? Did you do any backflips or was it headstands? I can't remember.
Oh man, I'm on the spot. I didn't get to do anything because I was just at work and I was in the lab in a clean room. So I just rushed home just for you. And I guess that's my warm up, just rushing home and listening to the radio and then just getting everything set up on my computer right now. So that's the warm up I did this time. So no jumping jacks, no push-ups or pull-up, just driving home.
Awesome. Well, that's enough of an adrenaline rush, right? Yeah. You know, I hope you didn't get any speeding tickets, by the way.
Not this time. No, we're good.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I, in the meantime, didn't do any push-ups, but I definitely poured myself a nice cold glass of Pellegrino with frozen strawberries. If you haven't, you got to try it.
Ooh, that sounds high class there.
Hey, it's better than the city water.
Yeah, okay.
I was following along on your stories. I saw that you went on a hike. Was that with the cross-country skiing?
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was a week ago. Yeah, me and a friend, we went cross-country skiing. We did 11 miles or something like 18 kilometers up to this spot that I like to go to. It's I'm kind of boring in that I rinse and repeat, and I just do the same hikes a lot just because I'm familiar with them. And so, that was my last adventure, my last big workout outside.
Cool. Well, I don't know if I can call that boring. I mean, I saw that you were in avalanche territory, so if that's boring to you, I don't know what that says about the rest of us.
Yeah, it might be dumb of me to be in avalanche territory, but this is an established route, so people know about it, and I always check online to see how the avalanche conditions are in the Northwest.
Okay, yeah. See, I was wondering about that. I was like, oh, wow, they are really brave, but, at the same time, I was like, well, Corey seems to know what he's doing, and, he's got the ancestors with him, so he'll be okay.
That's right. And I wasn't by myself, so that was another thing. I tried to do it the week before by myself and was a little freaked. So I invited a friend, and she's really good at backcountry adventures, and she's summited Mount Rainier. So I knew that she'd save me if I got into trouble.
Yes, you got to stick with the women. They will not get you into trouble.
Oh, you know.
That's awesome. And by the way, how did your talk go on Friday?
I don't know, Andrea. It's always tough doing talks, especially in this in the age of Zoom and virtual presentations. That's what I've realized, and I never practice. I do a little bit, but it's always an evolving thing for me. So sometimes I'm like on top of the world after a talk. Other times I'm like, oh, geez, I could have done that a lot better. And I think the issue is I try to squeeze in so much, and that's probably what my issue is. And especially when it's virtual, I like to play out the audience, so it's hard to get to do that. And then when you do
Yeah.
Zoom talks, and so yeah, I mean, I thought I'm sure it was fine. I try to make it fun and entertaining, but also informative. But I got things in my head for what I'm going to do next time.
Yeah, well, I mean, it just isn't the same. I'm seeing a lot of people do their talks online, and of course, you do it and you work at being as present and engaging, but it's not the same. But like you said, you learn as you go, and I'm sure in your mind, of course, we are our biggest critics. So you're
Yeah.
probably like, oh no, you notice things, but to the audience, they're like, wow, that was incredible.
But yeah, that was last Friday, and I was gonna ask, why weren't you there? I thought you were supposed to show it to my next talk. What's up with that?
I know. But the deal was that was supposed to be in person.
That's
So
right. You're right. Okay.
I'm kind of off the hook for that.
Okay. This time.
And you know what? I don't even remember what we were doing last Friday. It's like, I don't know. The days are just going
Oh,
by so fast.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Friday was busy. Yeah, it was a busy day of getting errands done. And by the
Mm.
time I got home, I was just like completely wiped out. So that's my excuse. Yeah. Did you have a good turnout for that? Like, was this your first time giving an online talk, like during the pandemic, or?
Oh no. I've given a few since March. One thing I've tried to do is try to limit myself to maybe just one per month, because when it takes a lot out of me because it is kind of, I see it as a performance, and so I get drained after them and preparing
Uh-huh.
for them. So I try to limit my speaking engagements to maybe one a month, because I did 2 or 3 one month in October, and it was just, I was stressed out the whole time because I was always lingering. There's a cloud of upcoming talks in my head, so I always yeah. So October was kind of stressful, but yeah. So I think it was good. This was for Western University, which is in
Oh yeah.
Ontario, Canada, and
Yes. Yeah.
yeah, it's for their weekly science seminars, and they said they had 75 attendees, which is double what they usually get. So I think that's good.
Just kind of bragging there, but that's okay. Hey, that's awesome. Very cool. I noticed a link came up in my Facebook feed, and I was going to tag you, but I thought, no, I'm going to tell them about it.
Mm.
They have put out a call for Pacific Crest Trail hosts. So my understanding is basically you sign up and you pick a spot along the trail and you welcome others through hikers. And I thought of you. I thought,
Oh.
wow, I bet he would really enjoy that. But then I remembered you're a hiker. So I'm like, okay, there's no fun in that if he's seeing people pass him by.
I know, right? Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess you call those trail angels. So they're asking for more of them. Okay, that's interesting. I mean, yeah, I was just going to say, like, connect back to the season, because I just finished reading Aspen's book about her trip on the PCT. And so just learning about, yeah, all those hosts or trail angels that help take care of the hikers. That's such a big thing that they do for the hikers. And so I'm actually a bit a ways though. So I'm not near the trail. I'm about 2 hours away from it. But usually it's people who are
Okay.
living near the trail that kind of offer food or maybe a place to stay or encouragement. I'd be up for that whenever I'm on the trail and I run into PCTers. I definitely pick their brains and talk to them and maybe take some of their trash, take some weight off of their pack.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, that would be such an experience, just meeting the people along the way. And yeah, when I read her book, I was like, wow, this is really a thing. There's other people out there who simply devote some of their time to help others who are doing something that is pretty challenging, if you will,
Yeah.
and giving them gifts along the way, like you said, a place to stay or food, or toiletries. I think that's really, really a great idea.
Yeah. From what I hear, they're lifesavers, especially in the South in California, where there are long stretches of 50 miles where there's no water at all. So they're kind of a lifeline where they lay out jugs of water for all the through hikers.
I just got an idea here. Of course, we are on all Indigenous land, just putting that out there, as you and I know, but thinking in terms of how where our communities have been placed, through reserves.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be pretty neat if somebody actually kind of did something like a Pacific Crest Trail style, but only, going through to each reserve, hitting all the reserves by foot across Canada?
That would be cool. I'd be down for that. That'd be
awesome. well, there you go. Add that to your bucket list. Okay, 2020 happened. What would you grade 2020 considering everything? So putting everything on the table, what would you give it a score out of 10?
Oh, a score out of 10. So 0 to 10. I mean, I guess, that's a tough one. I guess I'd give it a 3. I mean, just because it was it was a roller coaster. There was definitely highs, but a lot of lows. I don't know, maybe a 3 to 5. See, I'm so bad. I'm not good at grading.
Hey, you're honest and you're tough, and that's good.
Yeah. Last year was a tough year. I mean, there were some scary parts of it too. So, yeah. What about you? What would you rate it?
See, this is the nice teacher in me that wants to find a star for everybody.
Oh, man.
But then I'm also a little bit hardcore too. So I'm like, okay, well, I think I would give it a 5 out of 5 because some really incredible things happen. And then just some other things that, it felt like the world was upside down, and we're all just trying to hang on. But I don't know, it kind of seemed once, I don't know if you'd call it getting into your routine, but just adaptation to the, way the world started to be. Yeah, I think I would give it a 5 out of 5. Yeah, a half and half.
Okay.
What was one of your biggest highlights? What was one of the best moments of 2020 for you?
Oh, the best moments.
Besides being on the podcast.
Yeah, that was up there. That was definitely up there. I think just for to maintain my sanity, just to proactively try out different and new hikes was a big thing. So because from October of 2019 to October of last year, 2020, I went on some amazing hikes that I've never done before, and I daydream about them every day. And so I think those were highlights for sure. Having a full backpack, hiking 27 miles in one day twice. I did that because I've never done that. That's a long day. Definitely hiking out highlights it, but also building a wooden kayak. That's the other thing that I kind of ended the year with, and that was also something that I am happy about.
Yeah, I knew you had to mention the kayak. If you didn't, I was going to, because you were pretty passionate about that. That was your passion project, I think. And it turned out really amazing, by the way, from your pictures, and, it actually worked, if you will, right? That's the big test, right? When you put it out there and you find out what it's really made of.
Definitely. It didn't sink. Yes.
Yeah. 2020 was quite a year. I would say for myself, the podcast,
Okay.
because that's when it came to be. I was supposed to be in the schools doing research for my graduate studies, and then the schools shut down, and I'm like,
Oh,
okay, I guess we're thinking about what research is going to look like. And then it became an incredible opportunity to develop the podcast I had been thinking about the fall before 2019, and then just bring it to life. And it really did take a life of its own. And I got to meet some really incredible people like yourself and have these wonderful conversations and constantly learning. I learned so much from everybody. And I would say the other thing was I got married.
I was going to say, that's what I was going to say. What? And being engaged is number one? Wait, did you get married, or are you still
Yes,
engaged?
we got
What?
married.
I didn't know that. I thought you were engaged. Okay, wow.
Okay, cat's out of the bag.
Congratulations. Wow.
Thank
Okay.
you. Thanks so much.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I mean, I've had friends who also had planned to get married last year, and it's been kind of 50-50. Some of them just decided to postpone, and others did go for it. But I had to Google what you call those people that marry couples. So in Canada,
Yeah.
it's commissioner.
Yeah.
Okay, because in the U.S. they call it an officiant. Because I recently became one. I've married two couples that are friends. Yeah, you could call me Father Corey. I think that's what you.
Okay, so I got to know while we're on this topic, dating.
Gosh.
How does that look in the pandemic? Because I've read and heard lots of ways people are trying to be creative with dating or doing the apps or
Yeah,
I know you're obviously a busy guy, but how has that been like for you?
I mean, I could very easily just say and blame the pandemic for my lack of dates. But if I go back 2 years ago, it was the same situation where I didn't have any dates. So yeah, I
Yeah,
guess
yeah.
for last year, I'll just blame the pandemic. Yeah, that's the reason why I don't date that much. Yeah, pandemic. Yeah. COVID-19. I blame COVID-19. But no, I'm still out there. I mean, I'm out there. I have all the apps. I have Tinder, Plenty of Fish, Match, all that stuff. But yeah, I just haven't. I don't. Yeah, I don't have luck. I live in a remote area, so I could also blame. See, I'm just blaming everybody else. It's not my fault. But yeah, maybe if I lived in a different city, it would be different. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's dating is just tough in general, I think.
Yes. Oh
Yeah.
gosh, yes. Yes. Well, I got to ask you then, like, would you be willing to move for the right person? Like, are you where you are and that's where you're going to stay, for a good part of if not all of your life? Or are you open to moving? Like, because that does play a big part in things.
Definitely, definitely. Yeah, I mean, if I met, an amazing person like my soulmate, yeah, definitely, I would be open to that. I would definitely be open to that.
There it is, ladies. Okay, so he is willing to move. Add that to your list. Okay,
We're not on
of
camera, but
important.
I'm handing Andrea some money under the table.
Yeah, I mean, yes, like I always say, with the right person, circumstances, timing, and then, yes, if you are living somewhere far
Yeah.
or you don't have a lot of prospects or everybody's your cousin, then it's like somebody is out there and someone's willing to move, someone will be willing to move, whether it's you or the other person, it's always just what the circumstances are, I think, and
Yeah.
having that open mindset, I think, is really important. Not saying that, okay, I'm going to move, but just being open, I think, is really important because sometimes you just never know what opportunities are around the corner. And you're like, wow, I didn't even realize this person was like a really good match for me.
Yeah. I'm open. Yeah. So yeah, I'm definitely open. And one thing I'm thinking about is just like a couple of weeks ago, an ex messaged me, and I think she meant it as a compliment, but I took it the other way because she said, "Wow, Corey, you do so much. You're always traveling. You're always working. Uh, I don't see you having. I can't picture somebody dating you because you're always busy, and I don't know if they could uh, be up to dating you." And I was like, "What? What? So it's all my fault?" I don't know. I didn't know how to take that when she said that, but that was just a weird comment. I mean, she's my friend, and I'm sure she was looking out for me. What am I supposed to do? Like, not do stuff and just like hang out at home? And I don't know. But it's just a weird comment that I just think about stuff like that. I probably internalize it and overthink them.
What I can offer is just there's different ways to interpret that. One way I think her perspective she brings is a woman's perspective in the sense of, okay, maybe this is what she meant, but this is what I could possibly observe is where in your life does or would a relationship fit in, right? And it's not to say not to do all the amazing things you're doing, because those are what make you who you are. Those are important parts of you. I think it's just making that time. And I always believe in this. No matter how busy we are, we always make time for what we're going to make time for. We have 24 hours in a day. And at the end of the day, we always decide, we can say, oh, I was too busy to do this, too busy to do that. But at the end of the day, if we look at our choices, like even our daily choices, we're deciding how we're spending that 24 hours. So I think for you, if you met the right person and you hit it off, knowing you would make time for that person. But from the outside looking in, and because, this person, seems to have a good understanding of what you do in your life, how busy you are, it may look like that from the outside, like, okay, where would Corey have time to date or to meet someone? So at the same time, only you can answer that.
Yeah. I mean, so I analyzed what she said because, I kind of took it personal, but I think I need a publicist. I need an agent or something because I think a big component of her comment was social media, because I put a lot out there. And so you can make yourself whatever you want. You could be on the top of a mountaintop, or you could be in an alley in Paris or whatever. And some people would maybe think, oh, he's doing all these things, he has no time. But that's only like maybe 1.5 or 3.7% of my time. The other rest of the time is mainly me on the couch watching Netflix and stuff. I mean, most of the time I'm just like, being normal. I don't know. So, yeah.
I don't know if you're normal.
Hey, no,
I think you're extraordinary. No, I think you're extraordinary. So, and hey, what is normal? Yeah, that's true. It's the social media does play a big part in that. If people are connecting and possibly considering meeting someone, even in that way, social media can be your best friend or it can be your worst enemy when it comes to dating, because people paint a picture about us based on what it is we share. But I also know that, at the end of the day, unless your ex is Miss Cleo, she has a crystal ball, only you can really say what time you're opening up for yourself in that way. I'll just tell you a little quick story here.
Okay.
For me, when I was teaching and coaching and doing all these other things, just constantly adding to my plate, that was something that it went two ways. I was able to do some incredible things and have some incredible experiences, but it also left me not a whole lot of energy in my personal life, prioritizing relationships like family and friends and, other things that I know I enjoy doing, because all I did was work and throw myself into work because I loved working. But my sister told me one time, she said, if you are wanting to meet someone, and if at some point you also have to leave some space open for that as well, because if you keep filling up your own time and space with all these other things, then you may miss those opportunities. And she said, just think about it and think of how you're doing things and what it is you're sending out to the universe, messages, and how you're showing, like how you're opening your time up for that as well. Because if that's important to you too, then you got to make time for it. It's just something that I thought about, and I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm like busy and I'm doing these wonderful things, but yeah, and at the end of the day, for me, it's like, okay, it's really nice to have someone to start sharing these moments with, instead of
Yeah.
coming home and you're all alone. And there's nothing wrong with that either. But for me, I wanted to start sharing these moments with somebody else, my significant other, and, just get to enjoy it.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. This is like a therapy session. Thank you. It's free too.
Watch out, Dr. Laura.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand. I can relate. And I think that's why we connect too, Corey, because I'm not calling myself a scientist by any means. But I understand, it's when you are dedicated to your passions and they're connected to your career. Yeah, I'll just
Yeah.
say it. Hey, leave some room for that special lady that I know is out there. And she could be
Definitely.
listening as we speak.
That's true. That is true.
So, have you done any salsa dancing virtual sessions or anything like that?
No, not really. I mean, I miss my salsa family for sure. I mean, it's been almost a year that since the last time we all got together for a night of social dancing. But we did get together a few times, like virtually, just some Zoom hanging out things. But other than that, yeah, we've not seen each other. We message each other and stuff, but we still count the days until when we can next meet up and dance the weekend away.
Cool. Yeah. It's just going to be that much sweeter
Yeah,
because,
we're gonna have a huge party for sure.
yes.
Yeah.
Your photos look like a lot of fun. I saw one of your albums. I think someone tagged you in or shared a memory a couple months ago and looked like a blast. And I'm like, yeah, he's definitely missing that scene.
Yeah, yeah, it's tough. It's been a tough year.
I'm curious, did you have any favorite episodes that you enjoyed listening in last season for Talks with the Fox? Were there any that resonated with you or jumped out at you? Any guests?
Oh yeah. It's this uh, scientist dude in Washington State. No, I'm kidding.
Oh,
No, I was gonna say no. I mean, the, I'm not a big podcaster, but the ones that I listen to, like, I mean, they're kind of like it's kind of, you if you listen to a song and it happens during a certain time when you're doing something, you kind of those things become connected, like that whatever you're listening to connects to whatever you're doing. And so there was a few, like, I started out listening to your episodes right as I was building my boat. And so there's episode 1 or no, episode 2 with Joy, and then 3 with Riley, and then Jacqueline as well. Like, those were ones that I remember because it was hot down here. It was summertime. I was in my garage and I was just listening to them, those episodes, as I was building my boat. So those ones I remember fondly. And then there's other episodes that happened like in August. Yeah, I think I talked about it during my episode. Just I think it was Angelica or Angelica.
yeah, Angelica. Yeah.
Angelica. Yeah, I remember hers and Francine's and Brandy's, listening to those as I was walking on the Pacific coast, like on the Lost Coast, on the beach that I did, this long hike that I did. And so yeah, so all of them were awesome. And then I just love, like, the diversity of the guests you had. Like, I also, on drives, I just tune into your podcast and like listen to an episode because it'll get me right there, just like that. And I just like the diversity of the guests. And is it Maya? I love that you had Maya on there, and just hearing about her scrunchies and stuff. I thought that was so cool. She was very cute. She was very cute.
Yeah, she was so much fun. I mean, I was very grateful. Her mom and I talked, a little bit back and forth before she came on. And
Yeah.
I was just like, I wanted to make sure everything was good as far as her feeling comfortable coming on. And then I was like,
Aw.
why do I feel this is the one guest I feel the most nervous to talk to?
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, because I just putting on my teacher hat, I was like, okay, I don't get to be in front of her to interact with her. So, all right, I hope she hears my teacher voice, over the internet and over technology, and that we can connect, and that she feels safe to share her story. And yeah, she was such a joy.
Totally. Totally.
Yeah. Well, that's really cool. Yeah, I remember you were telling me you were on that Lost Coast Trail, and that was quite an adventure. I loved following your story too, and all the photos and your stops too. There was that one point where you were, I think it was either your first night. I don't know if you're at an Airbnb or a hotel. Oh, it was a chateau, I think, one of those.
Yeah, yeah, it
And
was
you
a
took these,
hotel. Yes.
yeah, and you had a cheeseburger, I think, or something. You took a photo, and I think of, yeah. Anyways,
Oh,
your
yeah.
meal that night, you were just like, and I was like, wow, this is incredible.
Yeah, I didn't plan to stay there 2 nights, but I ended up staying there 2 nights, and I'm so glad I did because it was right in the middle of this 65-mile hike, and yeah, it was a good way to recharge for sure.
Oh yeah, yes, yeah, it was that one. I remember. Yeah, wow, that's incredible. I
Well, what
mean,
about you? Do you have highlights from the season one? What are things that you think of when you think back on the season?
yeah. Oh, I when I did for the very last episode I did just kind of to highlight everybody. It was so hard to
Hmm.
narrow down just a few things to say about each guest. I like if you
Oh
saw
yeah.
my notes, I wrote notes on everybody. Like I was like, oh my gosh, I'm practically reiterating the whole episode with this person.
And that's okay.
Yeah, there were so many takeaways.
Yeah.
Just yeah, and I really enjoyed the different voices that came through, and they each gave me an opportunity to look at life in another way and from another person's perspective, and consider things differently, or consider things in a new way, even in my own personal life. Like I really enjoyed it, and there was so much learning because
Yeah.
it was all about exploring. Okay, this is, I'm, as much as I'm planning this out and doing everything to prepare, it's also going to take a life of its own. So that's kind of how I also approached it. I was like, okay, we're going to see what comes of this, and I'm just grateful that everybody who shared their stories were so generous in sharing their stories and their life lessons, and different people from all over the world that connected with different stories. It was like, wow, I'm so glad this person came on, not just for me to hear their inspirational story, but also for these other people all over the world to
Totally.
tune in and to be
Yeah.
inspired.
Yeah. I had a technical question. So
Yeah.
with podcasting, like you started like in July and then ended, I guess last month. So how do you pick seasons? Like it's not a year. Like you pick like, is it a number of episodes that make a season, or it's not? Is it a timeline, or how do you choose when a season ends and when you start a new one? Do you take a vacation in between? What?
Yeah, that's a great question. It really varies for each different podcast, because I listen to a lot of podcasts too. And, some seasons will be like 20 episodes, some will be like
Mhm.
15. For me, I just said, I'm going to do it until feel like I need a break. And I said, let's shoot for 20 to 25. And so we did 24. And I was like, okay, I'm ready to hit pause. Let's step back. And I also thought, it's kind of like a painting. You step back and you're like, okay, I need to step away from this just for a little bit. And then I need to come back with fresh eyes and be like, okay, let's review, let's reflect, and then let's regroup. And so, yeah, taking that time off was really nice. And
When did
also
you
the
do that?
holidays.
When did you take time off?
Through the holidays. Yeah. It ended up timing out with the Christmas holidays pretty much. Yet I also wanted to stay connected. So we kept the social media going, because I have people that reach out to me, and I was like, well, I know, there won't be any new episodes coming out till next season, but I also want to stay engaged with everyone. And
Totally.
yeah, so, and then I was like, okay, timing will be, let's kick off the new season come February. We already recorded a lot of episodes for this season
Oh
last year
wow.
as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's kind of nice, to have all that backed up, if you will, and then we're still recording some new ones. So this season is going to be the same in that I'm going to have guests, but how I do it is different. So this season will be all about mini series. I'm going to be kicking off next Tuesday the love series. So I'm interviewing couples. I've interviewed some already, and they're just telling their stories about what their marriage is like or their relationship and the fun stuff people like to hear, and also
cool. Good.
yeah, some life lessons too, and about being married and or parents, And then we're going to do an author series. I've already interviewed some of those authors. I can't say who, but I'm really excited about these authors. I'm sure you know some of them by name too. They'll be doing their series, and then
Are
we
they
also will be
together? Are they speaking together, or is it each an episode?
It's each an episode. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's about 4 to 5 episodes in a series. Yeah. And then I'll be doing like a motherhood series, talking to women about motherhood, and that'll come out in May. We've also planned it kind of around what's happening through the year, if there's any themes that we could tie into that. And yeah, exciting things for 2021. And I'm so excited to like have everybody on the journey. And what are you excited for this year? What's your next big projects that you're working on besides discovering another gravitational wave? I mean, that's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, on the scientific or work front, nothing as far as discoveries. We're going to be down for another year and a half or so as we're doing work in the lab. So, like I said, I was in the clean room this afternoon, and I was in a clean room outfit, cleaning optics and mirrors and stuff like that. And that's what a lot of us are doing, just working on the detector, and hope to come back online, I think mid 2022. So that's in the works. And then as far as other things, I just hope the pandemic gets better, because I miss traveling. I miss being able to explore and just go to other countries. I miss just travel. So there's that for sure. But yeah, I guess if that doesn't happen, if we're still dealing with that for the next few months or year, hopefully just a year, I'll probably just be outside. Like, as you probably know, I've switched from backpacking to snow sports, so cross country skiing or snowshoeing. And then when the weather warms up a little more, I'm hoping to do a several night kayak like tour, like kayak along a river, this big lake, this beautiful lake, and camp along the way, and maybe paddle about 100 miles or so. So that's the other thing. And I think that's about it. That's the main things that I'm thinking about. I mean, it's hard to find the next project. So those are some of the things I'm thinking about right now.
Oh, that's incredible. Wow. I mean, it's a continuum though of what you do, and it's like it's getting bigger though, like with now you're incorporating the kayaking and then the winter sports, of course, too, covering more distance. And that's so exciting, Corey. And when you do meet that special lady, there's going to be some incredible moments that you're going to share with this person, and they're going to bring into your life. And I'm really rooting for you. You know that? I'm rooting for you, and I know that whoever should connect with you should be so blessed, because you are an incredible person and you're a good man.
Thank you. Relationships are great. If that happens and it just happens to work by happenstance, I'm totally open. If it doesn't, I'm definitely up for adopting a new dog. If there's any res dogs out there that need a home, I could definitely hook them up.
That's awesome. Well, Corey, I've really enjoyed talking with you again, and, just laughing and sharing stories and hearing what you're up to on your side of the world. And I can't wait to see what you do next, though, with your incredible background in science and the things that you're teaching the world and enlightening the world, and our communities included in that too, with how they look at science. And, that it's really not such a separate entity with us as human beings. But it's been a real joy having you on, and I'm so honored that you came back on and co-hosted this exciting season 2 startup for wonderful episodes ahead. So you've definitely set the bar for that. I'm just so glad you came on as a co-host, and I appreciate it hand to heart. And with that said, you've definitely deserve a Talks with a Fox coffee mug and maybe a T-shirt.
Ooh, that's the other thing I was going to ask. Like, I love your merchandise, and so I've been wanting to get a T-shirt. So I mean, I don't mind just buying it. But yeah, Corey comes off the bench. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm a total bench player. Like when I played basketball, I was the grunt. I was the always picking up the garbage and coming off the bench. So that's totally my role, and I'm totally happy and fine with it. Even at work, I'm the same way. I like cleaning up after everybody else, and so I totally love and I just love being doing that kind of stuff.
Well, you know what? You came out on top. You are the all-star. Right on. So I'm so grateful, Corey, and
Thank you.
thank you so much. Hand, heart, needs.
Thank you. It's been great to talk to you, Andrea. Thank you for the opportunity. I'm so honored.